I was in Venice, missed it, and saw it in Toronto.
Okay.
So there was a huge gala, this big thing in Toronto, because of course that was coming home to Canada.
Big deal in Canada.
For the producer.
Big deal in Italy, too. It's a really popular book in Italy for some reason.
Why?
It's a hugely popular book in Italy. I don't know why. I asked Italians, and they were all sort of like, I don't know, but it's a huge, huge, huge thing, almost bigger than in Canada.
Well, I bet you were glad they decided to shoot in Italy.
Well, I think it's one of the reasons they did shoot in Italy, is because they're so into it that they decided to move it to Italy.
Because this character is, I mean, when you first read this screenplay, you must have gone, oh my God, this is a gift.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, the whole aging thing in itself is like a big gift.
Because for an actor,
Right, and because of that, and because of the nature of the guy, you get to sort of do everything in it. You know, I mean, I kind of got to do a little bit of everything, and he goes through.
Yeah, you're
everything.
You don't have to tell me how old you are.
Sorry, I'm 43.
So you're younger, in fact, in terms of your growing up. This guy was
in
the 70s.
No, and they moved, but it's what's interesting because they moved it generationally from the book even. I mean, in the book, he's much more kind of, it's much more sort of beatnik in Paris sort of thing in the 50s. And so then they moved it up a generation to the 70s in Rome. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I mean, I think they did that for lots of reasons, and I think it did work. I think it makes it less of a period piece, having to do too much period stuff, but it does work in a funny way. But
so did you have to sort of chase after this, like feeling competitive with other people, or did they come to you begging?
No, they came to me. I didn't come to be begging. They came to me and said, "Are you interested in doing it?" So I don't know. I'm sure that they had other people that they wanted to have do it, but eventually it ended up with me, and it was kind of standard. I just got it and read it and met with the director and the producer.
And did you have any input in terms of the screenplay?
No, the screenplay was pretty set, and I generally am wary about any of my own input because I'm not a writer and I don't know how to structure something particularly well. So if I see something that seems to exist on its own like that already, it's a huge gift because I don't have to. It'll support me, and I have to stay out of the way of it for the most part. But no, but we did have rehearsal, which was really nice and unusual for a movie like this. It was great to be able to rehearse.
Well, so it starts off with a relatively bohemian guy with a certain set of values, but he's always a little bit out of control. He's always a bit of a womanizer. He can't seem to put reins on himself. How would you describe this guy?
I think that's a really good way of describing him. And I actually think, he's attempting to be a bohemian. I don't know that he really has that in him, actually. And if he actually had that nature, if he actually had more of what his friend Boogie has in him, he probably might have been better off in life, because then he could have released all of this stuff inside of him. But he is a bit reined in at first, more so, because he doesn't really fit into this world. And I think he lets go of it more as he gets older. And I think he really doesn't really come alive until he meets his third wife at his second marriage, at the wedding to his second wife, is when he really finally just lets go and says, the hell with it. I don't really care what anybody thinks of me. This is what I'm going to do.
It looked like you were having a lot of fun with Minnie Driver.
Yeah, she was great. Oh, yeah, no, and that's a fantastic character. It's a really fantastic character that goes crazy places in the book that you really couldn't
this is the
give it the time.
book.
Yes. This is the Mordecai's book. It goes.
As a Jewish novelist, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a Jewish Canadian experience that he's basing everything in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the Duddy Kravitz was his other great character.
Yeah, Duddy Kravitz is. Well, there's a kind of trilogy. There's another one called Joshua Then and Now, which was made into a movie too, and they're all kind of a progression. There's Duddy when he's young, and Joshua's more middle-aged, and Barney's about the old guy. So it's a kind of a trilogy that exists of a piece a little bit.
Did you feel like you needed to be in sync with those other two things? Or did you just...
A little bit. I mean, there's a certain kind of genre that exists with these kinds of movies in a way, and this kind of Philip Roth type of thing. I think I was familiar enough with it. I didn't want to get too hung up in those actual other movies, but there's definitely a sort of feel to it.
And playing a Jewish character was comfortable for you?
Yeah, I didn't really ever feel like there was anything No, I did. Yeah, absolutely. It never felt uncomfortable.
No,
to
you
me.
were totally
Yeah, it never felt uncomfortable to
yeah,
me. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean it's a question of feeling like. I mean, how do you make yourself feel like you belong where you belong in the movie? I mean, what kind of research do you do to make that real for yourself?
Well, the script was really well written, and I think I just got a lot of information from the script. And I looked at the book a bit. I didn't read the book until after the thing was done. I didn't want to get too hung
Right.
up because it's very different. I mean, not only is it moved chronologically and things are changed, the book is all written from the point of view. It's a first-person narration of this old man with Alzheimer's, and it's in a way, there's many, many events in the book that are different. He's much harder to take in the book than he is in the movie because it's relentless. That voice never stops. This invective, this bitter voice never stops in it. And to some extent, I had to let go of him being that difficult to take. And I thought might get caught up in that, but also, it's different. It was just a different thing in a lot of ways. I was afraid I would get too caught up in what wasn't in the script.